Hello, dear Bancroft students and families. I'm back and I wanted to share another book with you that I think is really, really important for us to talk about and think about a little bit. It's something we don't always take time to think about. This story is called Listening with My Heart, and it's about a little girl who, very much like myself or like you or another child, might make some mistakes, which is a totally normal part of life, right? But if you're anything like me, when you make a mistake, you might feel kind of bad about it, and we might kind of beat ourselves up about it with our thoughts. And this book is really great about showing us how to really connect to those thoughts that we're thinking when things happen, how to name some of the feelings we might be having, how to name some of the sensations that our body might be experiencing when we're going through a particular feeling, and that it's okay to make mistakes. It doesn't mean that you aren't going to be responsible for the mistakes that you made, but you can be a lot more kinder to yourself and more compassionate to yourself, and how you handle that mistake and moving forward from there. Having some self-compassion, really being a good friend to yourself. So this book is a book about listening to your heart, because that's something that feels good. It's a way to connect you to others and to remind you to be a good friend to yourself. And in that way, we can really grow and have a peaceful world. So these are some skills that help all of us learn how to get along within ourselves and with the world around us. I read you guys another story that's on my playlist by this author, Gabi Garcia. And as I said, this book is called Listening with My Heart. It's a story of kindness and self-compassion. All right, the character in our story is Esperanza. Let's see what happens for her. Esperanza's tummy fluttered as she practiced her lines on the porch. Today was the class play. Waiting for Mama to walk with her to school, she paced back and forth when she spotted a heart-shaped rock. I don't know if you guys can see that, my dear friends, but that is the heart-shaped rock that Esperanza noticed. Esperanza picked it up and showed it to Mama as soon as she stepped outside. "I see you found a little treasure," said Mama. Esperanza rubbed its rough surface and felt a twinkle of joy. "Maybe it's a sign." "For what?" asked Mama. She thought about the class play later that afternoon, wondering what it would finally be like in the spotlight. "To put my heart into everything I do," she answered. Because remember, it was a heart-shaped rock. She thinks it's a sign that it means that she has to remember to put her heart into everything that she does. All right. At that moment, they heard scratching and a soft cry. Esperanza peeked under the stairs and spotted a kitty shaking and shivering. No Mama in sight. She scooped the kitten onto her lap and cuddled her. "She's all alone. I think she's hungry." Esperanza reached for her lunch bag, pinched off a piece of chicken, and offered it to the kitty, who gobbled it up. "Mama, I think the rock is a reminder to spread kindness and love. That's what we do when we listen with our hearts." "I think you're onto something," said Mama. "Can we keep Cleopatra, please?" asked Esperanza, who had already named the kitty. "Queens are always welcome at our house," said Mama. "If she's still here after school, we'll take her in." At school, Esperanza was more focused on the play than on math or reading. Clutching her script during recess, she noticed Bao sitting alone on a bench. He was new in school this week and didn't speak much English. She wondered if he felt lonely or scared. Esperanza found a soccer ball and kicked it over to him. Oh, there is Bao. How nice that she kind of thought about what a person who's new at a school might be feeling. And she noticed that he was sitting alone, so she made a pretty smart guess using her social smarts. Maybe he was feeling a little lonely and didn't have anyone to talk to. And she thought about, ooh, sorry guys, little malfunction here. She thought about how she might be helpful for Bao. All right, let's see if I can fix it. Okay, I think I got it. All right. Check out the difference in his face. It took a little kindness, and he looks very different now. A smile spread across Bao's face. He stood, popped the ball in the air, then bounced it between his knee and his head a few times. Dude's got moves, thought Esperanza. Wow, she's pretty impressed by his soccer skills, huh? They spent recess giggling and making up hand signals. Looks like they're having some fun. I love making friends, don't you? Sometimes we have to be pretty brave to do that, though. All right, now we see Esperanza. It looks like she's in her classroom doing art. Let's see. Afterwards, Esperanza borrowed Miss Owen's English-Vietnamese dictionary. She wrote friend in Vietnamese, drew a picture of Bao and her, then put it on his desk. Esperanza rubbed the rock in her pocket. Listening with her heart made her feel peaceful inside. She's doing a lot of really kind, thoughtful things for other people. And the best thing about that, you guys, is that when you do something very nice for others, it usually makes you feel so good inside. You get your gift right away. It's that really good feeling of knowing you did the right thing and you did something very kind. All right, it looks like we're going to be seeing what happened in that class play. All right, let's see. Finally, it was time for the performance. It was too late for Bao to be in the play, but he stood at Miss Owen's side as a stagehand. So he was going to help out, even though he didn't have a specific part in there. So they found a way to include him. See, I see him there holding some important-looking papers along with their teacher. Excitement bubbled as Esperanza awaited her cue. She's waiting to go on stage and do her part. You guys remember she'd been practicing. She had that script with her and she'd been working really, really hard. She didn't pay attention to reading or math. She was really focused on her script. She wants to do a really good job. Oh gosh. Esperanza walked on stage, tripped as she was about to say her first line, and splattered across the stage. Yikes. Oh. When she got up, she forgot her lines, so Miss Owen whispered them to her from backstage. I can see her doing that. Heat rushed through Esperanza's body as all eyes were glued to her. She's up on stage and there's a lot of people watching her. She wished she could disappear. Oh my gosh, she's feeling really hot. All this heat is creeping up on her. Oh goodness, and she wishes she was not right there on stage with all those eyes watching her. It's very understandable. I would feel the same way, I think. Oh goodness. I ruined the play, thought Esperanza, rushing off stage as soon as she'd finished her part. I'm such a dummy for forgetting my lines. I messed up in front of everyone. Oh, she tucked herself in behind some props so no one would see her. She's feeling really bad about the fact that there was just a little mistake, an accident. She tripped and forgot her lines. Esperanza noticed her body shaking and her face still burning hot. She took a deep breath dug the rock out of her pocket. It was cracked and lopsided, just how she felt. Esperanza touched her hand to her heart and felt the disappointment. She's just sitting there and she's kind of thinking about what the feeling is, and she gave it a feeling. She gave that feeling a name. Disappointment. She's disappointed that something didn't happen the way she thought it was going to happen. I felt that way before. I wonder if you guys have ever been disappointed about something. Val found Esperanza a few minutes later and handed her a drawing with the word friend written on it. Esperanza nodded. She hadn't been treating herself like a friend. She hadn't been treating herself like a friend. I remember she was such a good friend to that little kitten, and she was such a good friend to Bao, and she made so many good choices and started to play with him and joke with him, and she made him a picture. She really knows how to be a good friend. It seems like the only person she hadn't been so friendly toward was herself. Let's see how we're going to deal with that in this story. Okay, now it looks like we're on a soccer field. Yes, I see Esperanza by the goal, and she has a soccer ball. Let's see what happens here. Esperanza realized this wasn't the first time she'd been unkind to herself. At the soccer game last weekend, she'd missed the ball that swooshed by her head, and they lost the game. Nice work, a player from the other team yelled as the others laughed. Esperanza thought she'd let her team down and was the worst soccer player in the world. Thinking those thoughts had made her feel worse. Thinking those thoughts, so thinking that she had let her team down and that she was the worst soccer player in the world, when she thought those thoughts, it made her feel even worse. I wonder what other things she might have thought to herself then when things didn't go quite the way she wanted. I wonder if there's some other thoughts we could think of instead that wouldn't make someone like her or us feel worse in this situation. At the curtain call, Esperanza reminded herself she hadn't ruined the play. She'd had an accident, and accidents happen to everyone. Yes, everyone, including me, including the grown-ups in your life. Listening with her heart wasn't just about giving kindness and love to others. It was about giving it to herself too. I can be a friend to myself, thought Esperanza. That's right. What a good thing for her to realize. When Esperanza got home, she focused on her favorite things. She zipped down the hill on her bike, then spent the afternoon painting at the kitchen table. She also got the hug she needed from Mama and some cuddles from Cleopatra. Do you guys know that sometimes when I'm having feelings like she is, if I go play with my pets, I'm lucky I get to have a cat and some dogs in our house, it usually makes me feel better. And definitely if I hug someone I love, like my mom or my son, it immediately makes me feel better. It's amazing. It's like magic. I really challenge you guys to try it. When you're feeling down or bad in any way, or if a grown-up in your life feels that way, see what happens if you just go up to them and very gently give them a nice long hug. Give your kindness and understanding and your love and your friendship through your hug, and see if it makes them feel better. When I'm upset, my son usually gives me a little hug because he knows I need it. And it always works to make me feel better. Something very small that we can do for each other and ourselves. So, Let's talk about listening with your heart. Some days stink. Not everything will go the way you want. You'll get upset. When this happens, you can pause, take a few deep breaths, especially when we're really upset, you guys. I don't know about you, but my breathing gets faster. That's a sensation I've noticed. When I feel upset, my breathing is faster. That's the sensation I notice. So it does really help to slow down and take some deep breaths. And practice listening with your heart. You can always work on naming what you're feeling, and whatever you're feeling is okay. Remember, she felt disappointment. That's okay. She felt embarrassed. That's okay. She also felt very friendly and thoughtful, and that's okay too. At different parts in the story, she had different feelings, and all those feelings are okay because we all have them. We can also stop and listen to our bodies and notice the sensations that we're having. Sensations are those things that we notice, like butterflies in our stomach, or the heat that comes up when we're feeling a little upset or embarrassed, or feeling kind of shaky, nervous if we're going to go on stage. Those are all the different sensations that we're aware of. But the really important thing, you guys, and I'm not very good at this, I'm working on it too, so I hope we can all work on it together. I bet your grown-ups can use some work on this too. We have to pay attention to our self-talk, the things that we say to ourselves in our head or in our heart when we're talking to ourselves on the inside. Sometimes we can say it out loud, I guess, but we're really directing our words to ourselves. And those words are really important because I hope that we can look at those words and say, am I using words that are supportive? Am I using words that are understanding? Or am I saying things to myself that are kind of mean and rude, and maybe they hurt my feelings? They don't make me feel good. In short, are you being a friend to yourself with the words you're using, or are you not being a friend? It's important for us to pause there and look at that so we can change it. When we treat ourselves with the same kindness and understanding we give to someone we care for, we're practicing self-compassion. So if you treat yourself in the same loving, kind way that you treat someone else that you love, you're being compassionate toward yourself. You're showing self-compassion. Now, there's a little exercise here. Let's try it together. It's called Being My Own Friend. So, Esperanza is asking us to wrap our arms around ourselves and to give ourselves a gentle hug. So, I want you guys to wrap your arms around yourselves and give yourself a gentle hug. Take a few deep breaths and close your eyes if you like. I can do that. Will you guys join me in a couple of nice slow breaths? You can close your eyes too if that feels good for you. Now, if your eyes are closed, I'm going to ask you to repeat some of these words to yourself. When I feel sadness, may I treat myself like the friend I need. May I show love and kindness to myself. When I feel anger, may I treat myself like the friend I need. May I show love and kindness to myself. Now maybe you guys can think of feelings you experience that are difficult for you and fill in the blank for me. When I feel, can you think of a feeling word? I'll say when I feel lonely, may I treat myself like the friend I need. May I show love and compassion to myself. I feel better already. Now, there's another exercise here. It's called kind words for myself. So now we're going to put our hands, both hands, place it over your heart. Notice your hands touching each other and touching your heart. So I'm aware of my heart. I can feel it beating underneath this hand, and I'm aware of this hand being on top of the other. Let's take a few deep breaths. I'm going to close my eyes, and you can too if you like. I feel so calm. What loving and understanding words or phrases would you like to hear when you're having a tough time or feeling upset? You know, no matter what's going on, I like to know that I'm loved regardless. Maybe you do too. It's always important to know that even if someone is upset with us, that their feelings about us hasn't changed. Like if I do something that makes my father upset, it's important that I remember just because I made him upset, those feelings don't change. So for me, it would help if I've done something that's wrong or an accident or a mistake, that I'm reassured that that person still loves me. That's something that I like to hear. What do you guys think would be helpful? Maybe it's happened in the past. Maybe a gentle hug has helped you. Maybe your mom or brother or dad or sister or someone else has shared with you something that's made you feel better. It's important to remember what that was, so maybe we can ask for it again or let those people know that that was really helpful. That made me feel better. Thank you. What would feel good or comforting to hear? What kind of things? See if you and the grown-ups in your life can take some time and come up with some of those things and talk about what are the words or phrases that come up for you guys that make you feel good. Maybe you can write them down or put them in your journal and read them to yourself or to the person you love when you think they need to hear those words. Now, you guys, like I said, we are all connected. Everyone messes up. We all make mistakes. We feel really big, strong emotions. It's normal. Everyone wants to feel kindness and love. That's what connects us to each other. So we're going to take our hands and gently place them on our laps. We're going to take a few deep breaths and close your eyes if you like. I like to do that. And then we're going to say these words to ourselves. So I'll say it first with my eyes closed after I read it, and see if you can repeat it to yourself as well, okay? You don't have to say it out loud if you don't want to. If you just want to say it inside, that works too. So, I connect to myself through love and kindness. This is where you would say to yourself, I connect to myself through love and kindness. I connect to others through love and kindness. I connect to the world through love and kindness. Did you notice how you feel after doing these activities? I can tell you that I feel really calm. It's kind of magical. I feel very calm. And I feel really good. You know what I notice is when I say those wonderful, kind words, those loving words, I feel like it comes right back to me. Like just hearing those words has such a great energy that love and kindness, just speaking those words, especially to myself, makes me feel so much better. So the nice thing is you guys have these words and phrases now to think of and discuss with your families. And maybe you can say it to each other or read it if you wrote it down when you think that you need to do it, because listening with your heart feels good. It connects you to others and it reminds you to be a friend to yourself as well. And when we're friends to ourselves and to everyone and to the whole entire world, we've made it a much better place to live. And we're spreading our peace and love. And with that, we are at the end of our book, my dear friends. I hope you guys learned a little bit more about kindness and self-compassion and how to start working on talking to yourself in this way as well. So in all the ways you practice being a good friend or a good daughter or a good son to your family, you can also practice being very good to yourself as well and loving yourself first and foremost. I hope you guys enjoyed this story, listening with my heart. I don't think there's anything else I can put on there. I might add some of these activities on my Google Classroom for you guys if you want to do it again. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day, you guys. I miss you. I hope you're all doing great with your families. And I hope these stories help us all get through some of these difficult times that we're in right now. I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.